Hey everybody, Mr. G here with Story Time. We're doing this pretty much in chronological order, and I'm talking about 1994 when I was at Bradley Middle School in San Antonio, Texas. So I was on the basketball team there at Bradley. They had like 4 or 5 basketball teams because it's so overcrowded. But at the end of the season, you had a meet up with the head coach, which is Coach Rizzo, and the other coaches. And they had a personal interview with them in their office. And I remember with my interview, they told me, Greg, Grant, you did really well this season. Any student here, you made the most progress from the beginning of the season to the end of the season. And they were right, because I did change so much at that period of my life in 1994, in particularly January, February, March, April, May of 1994. And beginning of 8th grade to the end of 8th grade, I made some big changes. And I talked yesterday about the class for troubled students with Mindy Roundtree and Bernice Rodriguez, Mrs. Gorham's class, which was sewing and home ec. I forgot to mention Chris Schneider was also in that class, and Chris was a friend of mine. We became good friends in gym class the previous year when we didn't have our uniforms, or both of us were on the sidelines for whatever reasons. And I came up with this game where I would pretend like I knew what the person that we were watching everybody play volleyball and baseball, and I would on the sitting on the sidelines, I'd pretend like I'd know what the person was saying, the guy playing volleyball or the guy pitching, and make jokes about everybody. Then he started doing it, and it became this thing that we started doing all around the school and everything for the next couple of years. But Chris Snyder, he came from a single parent household, and he wasn't as confident as I am. And he was in that class either. And see, I almost forgot he was in that class, even though it was a small class, because he was so quiet and his ego was so hurt because I talked so much in that class. A lot of times I don't have to be the center of attention if it's going to hurt somebody else, like a cool person like Chris. And I don't even know if Chris made it to this far, because he wasn't like the toughest person, at least not like tough like me. I remember he snuck out of his mom's house on the last day of school in 8th grade, and he came to my neighborhood. He wanted to hang out with me and my brother, and so me, him, and Brian Brodeen and Stephen Drury, we all went to Shadow Cliff Pool, and we basically like broke into the pool. And I remember everybody was joking like, "Oh, Chris, your mom's gonna freak out when at 2 a.m. she notices you're not gone." And then they all asked me and my brother, they're like, "Isn't your dad gonna be pissed off, scared when he notices you're not gone?" And we laughed like, "Haha, he's not gonna care." And it was true, he wasn't gonna care. And we were already hardened at that point. It goes all the way back to 4th grade was the hardest point. At that point, my mom was in a mental institution. My father didn't give a shit about me. My twin brother at that point disowned me too. He's like, "I don't know that kid." I was nerdy with glasses, had no friends, no family. My only friend was this orange cat. And even the orange cat was like, "Hey kid, I love you and all, but your dad's not feeding me. Look how skinny I am. And I got this guy down the street, he gives me food all the time." I don't know why the cat had a New York accent, but at that point, I didn't have anybody. And people tell me now, they're like, "Mr. G, you're so hard. You can bounce back from anything." You know what I tell them? "You ain't seen nothing, kid."